Coming up here on WICB News, a fire spreads at a local VFW, an Illinois Senate member loses his mind, and a cannibal was apprehended down in Florida. All this and more right now. Hello everyone and welcome to WICB News. I'm Abel Alegria.
And I'm Tim Nessel. Here are today's top stories. Last night, the VFW in Villa Park got a bit more than they bargained for during their weekly bingo night. 9 people were taken to the hospital, 2 in critical condition following a fire and explosion in the basement. Fire broke out about 7 p.m. in the gun range downstairs where repairs were going on. There were at least 50 people already in the building at the time of the incident. A welder accidentally ignited the insulation and the fire spread quickly. The explosion was caused by gunpowder being ignited.
Probably had built up, and the guys welding ignited the gunpowder, it appears. We're going to do an investigation right now. A fire occurred. They were exiting the building up the stairs, and when they got to the staircase, an explosion occurred.
After the fire, dozens of people gathered in a nearby grocery store parking lot, sitting on portable chairs and waiting for access to the VFW parking lot to retrieve their cars. The hall will be closed while firefighters complete their investigation.
A Rogers Park man stands charged with shooting and killing a 13-year-old boy in a pizzeria at Foster Avenue and Broadway. Andre Alejandro is charged with first-degree murder in a shooting that killed Ivan Alanis. Police said at 2:20 a.m. on Tuesday, the boy was eating pizza with his sister and her friend at Lori's Pizza and Liquors. They encountered Alejandro, who started yelling gang slogans at them. Afterward, Alejandro briefly left the pizzeria, then returned with a handgun and fired several shots through the open door. Alejandro then ran east on Foster Avenue. Alanis was struck in the face and was taken to a nearby hospital in critical condition. Unfortunately, he was pronounced dead there at 3:16 a.m. on Tuesday morning. The Uptown Update blog expressed alarm that recent gang violence has erupted at the north end of the neighborhood, which is typically a quiet area. Alejandro is scheduled for a noon bond hearing at the Cook County Criminal Courthouse. Business interests pledged that money to cover the cost of the NATO summit are going to have to pay the Chicago's parking meter lease company. The Chicago Tribune says the business will pay at least $65,000 to Chicago Parking Meter LLC due to the revenue it lost because of the summit on May 20th. Mayor Rahm Emanuel has contested the nearly $50 million worth of bills from the same company, most recently because of disabled drivers with legitimate placards and disability plates that allowed them to park for free. In 2009, the bill for such revenue lost was $500,000. In 2010, it was $1.6 million, and last year it was $2.2 million. One of the most controversial decisions in office since Mayor Daley in 2008 retired, who persuaded the city council to enter into a $1.1 billion 75-year contract with Chicago Parking Meters LLC to take over the city's parking meters as a result of the decision. Parking meters rates jumped across the city with built-in increases for the next 5 years. By next year, it will cost $6.50 per hour to park in the loop. Free Sunday and holiday parking has been abolished. The traditional meters were replaced with pay boxes that many complained would often malfunction.
There's more bad news if you're a smoker in Illinois. It will now cost you $1 more in taxes per pack to maintain your bad habit. The Illinois Senate approved the tax hike by a vote of 31 to 27, with the voting going along party lines. The tax increase is to fill in the gap in the Medicaid budget hole. Governor Quinn has indicated he will sign the bill as soon as it hits his desk. This tax increase will apply to cigarettes and a few other smoking devices, but not chewing tobacco or moist snuff. It's expected to bring in $350 million for the state Medicaid system, and the funding will be matched dollar for dollar by the federal government.
A state House pension reform bill endorsed by Governor Pat Quinn and House Speaker Michael Madigan was met with some dissatisfaction.
Again, total power in one person's hands, not the American way. These damn bills that come out here all the damn time come out here at the last second, and I gotta try to figure out how to vote for my people. How ashamed are you? You should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm sick of it. Every year, we give power to one person. It was not made that way in the Constitution. He was around when it was written.
Representative Michael Bost launched into a tirade Tuesday as he complained about the amount of power Madigan wields. The The bill would reduce the annual cost of living increases for public employees, such as state workers, university staff, and downstate teachers. It would also shift pension costs from public schools to state and local school districts, which would be forced to raise property taxes to fund pension costs that are now picked up by the state.
In more local news, the annual Naperville Summer Festival Rib Fest just added a band that is no stranger to festivals. The rock and roll jam band Mo has been added to a lineup that already includes Joe Walsh, ZZ Top, Joe Nichols, and the Steve Miller Band. Mo is a band from upstate New York and have been together for over 20 years. In addition to the musical entertainment, Rib Fest will include family activities and 16 different rib vendors from around the country. Since its inception, the Exchange Club of Naperville event has raised over $12 million for local agencies that work to eliminate child abuse and domestic violence. The annual festival runs from June 29th to July 3rd, and ticket information can be found at www.ribfest.net.
And now we turn it over to our man on the field, Tyler Simpson, with a look at the annual tradition in downtown Lombard. Tyler?
I'm located in downtown Lombard, where Cruise Nights are back again. Cruise Nights will begin its 14th season on June 2nd with its traditional Welcome Back weekend. Cruise Nights are free and intended to be fun for the whole family.
One of the most iconic images of the movie Back to the Future is the high-tech DeLorean car that took Marty McFly 30 years into the past. If you happen to be walking down St. Charles Road in Lombard this summer, you might just be shocked to see it on the side of the road or cruising down the street.
This year, Welcome Back Weekend will feature the music from DJ Tony with Flashback 50s. Music will take place on a stage on Park Avenue. Cruise Nights are located on St. Charles Road and Park Avenue in downtown Lombard and will take place until the end of August.
Event organizer Joel Cott said volunteers from both the community and outside of Lombard have been instrumental in helping with parking, answering questions, and in general are on hand to help create a personal touch.
Classic cars are invited to park along St. Charles Road from Main Street to Elizabeth along the main thoroughfare. 250 to 300 car owners usually participate in this event with no registration necessary. Car owners from Wisconsin to Indiana come to this event every year. To volunteer, call Joel Cott at 630-620-5718. Cruise Nights can be nostalgic for many people because they grew up during the time when many of these cars were made, and it reminds them of their youth. For ICB News, I'm Tyler Simpson, back to the studio with Abel and Tim.
Tyler, thank you very much. I'm definitely looking forward to that. If you've ever been out there, Abel, it's really cool.
It sounds like a great time.
The way that people take care of the cars, they're usually just absolutely immaculate. So, coming up after the break, we're going to find out some news from a very scary scene under a Florida causeway. We'll be right back.
Channel 4 WICB News, Lombard's finest news source for stocks, sports, weather, and local and national news.
I don't know, I'm missing something there.
This is New Guinea.
It's so powerful.
I don't see it.
I'm having an out-of-decade experience. I was walking and came upon a fountain which bore the sign, "Don't drink the water."
Do you get
the beggar
this?
carries a
Isn't
sign
it
saying, "I'm
fantastic?"
blind." What does this poem mean to me? It's like a collage of images.
Let's face it, not every cultural activity appeals to everyone.
Finding an oasis.
So we're giving you something everyone likes, a choice. That's why 23,000 arts and humanities groups are inviting you to find something you can get excited about. Just call for a free brochure about what's going on in your community.
I think I'm getting into this.
They're tuning up.
The arts and humanities, there's something in it for you. There's a lot going on in your community. For a free brochure on how to get involved, call our toll-free number.
When Raymond was 10, I couldn't let him play ball in the schoolyard because of the gang. When he was 15, I wouldn't let him go to any dances because there could be a fight or a shooting. Now he's a man, and I realize he's never been a kid.
Give your children back their childhood. Do something now. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Together, we will take a bite out of crime.
This is the hand that sows the seed, that grows the forest, that drinks from the stream, that hugs the mountain, that gives shape to the wind, that carries the kite, that is flown by the child, that is loved by the woman, that toils at the job, that gives to Earthshare, that supports the hand, that sows the seed.
All life is woven together. How can we choose which environmental cause to support? Earthshare, the workplace giving program, makes it simple by bringing the leading environmental groups together under one umbrella. Support Earthshare, and you support them all, including the hands that sow the seeds and protect the forests and the streams and the children. To learn more, please visit our website.
Last weekend in Miami, Florida, an officer came across one nude man biting off pieces of another nude man's face. The incident took place on the MacArthur Causeway near the Miami Herald building shortly after 2 p.m. The officer on the scene ordered the man making a meal out of the other man to stop. The blood-covered man refused to stop and turned toward the officer and growled. The officer then shot him. The medical examiner has identified the man as 31-year-old Rudy Eugene and the victim, 65-year-old Ronald Papeau. Miami resident Larry Vega witnessed this disturbing event and described the incident in his own words.
I was on my way back to the car, and somebody from the DOT stopped me and says, "You can't go any further." And then when I look forward, there's a guy on top of another person eating him up, like just tearing his face apart. And I was like, and I try to scream at him, "Hey, get off of him," It's like the guy he was like a zombie.
The head of Miami Fraternal Order of Police, Armando Aguilar, said that people on bath salts have all taken their clothing off, been extremely violent with what seemed to be superhuman strength, even using their jaws as weapons. In other disturbing news, officers in Hackensack, New Jersey encountered 43-year-old Wayne Carter on Sunday morning when they responded to reports of a man barricaded in a room and threatening to harm himself. 2 officers kicked in the door and saw Carter in the corner holding a knife in his hand. Carter, ignoring the officer's orders to drop the knife, stood up and stabbed himself in the abdomen, legs, and neck. Carter yelled at the officers and took an aggressive stance. The officer used pepper spray in order to subdue him, but had no effect. Police said that Carter cut off pieces of his skin and intestines and threw them at the officers. The officers decided to call in the Bergen County SWAT team. Carter finally restrained and was taken to the hospital just before midnight. No charges have been filed due to the unusual nature of the case. The cause of this strange behavior is believed to be drug use or mental illness. Carter has been arrested in the past for aggravated assault and resisting arrest.
Barack Obama officially has an opponent for the 2012 presidential election. On Tuesday, May 29th, presidential hopeful Mitt Romney secured the Republican nomination by crossing the 1,144 delegate plateau with his victory in the Texas primary. Since Rick Santorum ended his candidacy on April 10th, Romney has been the frontrunner for the nomination. The American businessman and former governor of Massachusetts has proven to be a tremendous fundraiser, raising over $40 million in April alone, and a great ability to draw a crowd.
Free people pursuing their dreams freely, building enterprises that employ one another of us. That's what's made America the powerhouse we've become. This president doesn't understand that because he hasn't lived that. And instead, on almost every dimension, he's made it harder for our economy to come back and to put people to work.
Romney has a net worth of over $200 million, and the general election voters will get a chance to meet him in the next few months. This introduction could make the difference between winning and losing in the November election. The 2012 Presidential Medals of Freedom have been awarded to 13 recipients this year. These medals are the highest civilian honor given out by the United States government. This year's recipients include former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, former University of Tennessee women's basketball coach Pat Summitt, astronaut John Glenn, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Bob Dylan. Previous recipients have included President Ronald Reagan, golfer Jack Nicklaus, politician Bob Dole, and Baseball Hall of Famer Jackie Robinson. This award recognizes individuals who have made an especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural, or other significant public or private endeavors. The medal is not limited to U.S. citizens, and while it is a civilian award, it can be awarded to military personnel. It was established in 1963, and it replaced the earlier Medal of Freedom that was established by President Harry S. Truman in 1945.
The first former head of state to be convicted of war crimes since World War II was sentenced to 50 years in prison on Wednesday. The Special Court for Sierra Leone convicted former Liberian President Charles Taylor last month for supplying and encouraging rebels in neighboring Sierra Leone in a campaign of terror involving murder, rape, and sexual slavery. He was also found guilty of using Sierra Leone's diamond deposit to help fund its civil war with guns, as well as enriching himself with what were known as blood diamonds. For victims in Sierra Leone, Taylor's verdict brings relief. Taylor hung his head while Judge Richard Lussick read the sentencing statement, which began with a horror cabinet of carnage committed in Sierra Leone by rebels of the Revolutionary United Front. He was a pivotal figure in Liberian politics for decades and was forced out of office since 2003. Subsequently, Taylor escaped to Nigeria, where border guards arrested him 3 years later, as he was attempting to cross into Chad.
Facebook is looking to create a smartphone. Just 1 week after its less than stellar initial public offering, comes news that the social network is beefing up its engineering staff in hopes of releasing a Facebook smartphone by 2013. This rumor surfaced in 2011 when the website All Things Digital reported that the company was working with Taiwanese cell phone maker HTC to create a cell phone, codenamed Buffy, that has the social network integrated in the, quote, core of its being. The New York Times reports that Facebook has hired more than a dozen Apple software and hardware engineers and is actively recruiting others. One engineer who asked to remain anonymous told the paper that founder Mark Zuckerberg had asked him about the inner workings of cell phones, wanting to know all the nitty-gritty details like what kind of chips they used. The paper cites numerous sources as saying the company hopes to have a phone on the market by next year. Coming up on WICB News, we'll have the latest weather with LaQuisha Alexander and Sean Frazier with sports right after the break.
Channel 4 WICB News, Lombard's finest news source for stocks, sports, weather, and local and national news.
I told you not to take the right turn, Sean. Now we're going to miss the reservation.
Dal, where are we? About 5 miles outside of Lafayette. Lafayette, Indiana? No, wait.
You dummy! We were supposed to be in Illinois.
Don't worry, guys. I'll ask Siri to help us.
Excuse me? Who's Siri? And why haven't I met her?
She's my personal assistant.
She's your what?
My automated assistant on my new iPhone. She can help us out.
Here are directions to Cheeseburger and Paradise Bar and Grill.
Cool. Is that the only thing Siri does? Of course not. She's voice activated. She can send text messages, schedule meetings, look up information on the internet, and a whole lot more.
Can she find you a new girlfriend?
I couldn't find any dating services.
Finally, something she can't do.
Well, she also can't make me a sandwich.
The iPhone 4S, the best iPhone yet.
Has this ever happened to you?
My goal is 20 points, actually. So. Wait. What's this?
What are you drinking, man? Is that a Snapple?
What's wrong with Snapple?
Why would you say that? He doesn't mean it.
Don't be that one guy. Reach for a 7-Up.
It is time now for our weather update with LaQuisha Alexander. The weather was great yesterday. Can we expect more of the same?
We sure can. If you enjoyed yesterday, I think you would definitely love today. Temperatures are going to be getting a couple degrees warmer. Yesterday we got up to 78 and it was a great day where you can go walk in the park. Not exactly the right time to go swimming just yet. Today's temperature will be at a high of 82 and a low of 70 with some slight clouds downtown. Around the lake, it is about 80 degrees outside right now. The wind is blowing about 7 miles per hour. Elsewhere, the temperature may drop or may go up. It varies depending on your location. I expect to get more clouds this afternoon, just mid to high level clouds, but still going to be very nice. Looking ahead, it is going to be a beautiful weekend. Tonight, a shower or two is possible with the partly cloudy skies. Overnight low 69 degrees, winds blowing west to southwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Tomorrow, a few passing clouds, otherwise generally high. Sunny. High of 77 degrees, winds going northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Expect a low of 62 with another shower or two possible at an 80% chance of rain. Sunday, a high of 77, partly sunny with a few clouds and a low of 56. Monday, 82 degrees, 64 is the low. Tuesday, a high of 85 and a low of 66. And on Wednesday, you can definitely go swimming because we'll have a high of 91 degrees. I'm sure all the kids that's out of school right now will definitely enjoy their summer now that it's officially summertime in Chicago.
LaQuisha, thank you very, very much. Well, the Cubs and White Sox looked to end their prolonged losing streaks. All that and more with Sean Frazier at the Sports Desk. Sean?
Thanks, Tim. The woeful Cubs have not won in their last 12 games, but with the wind blowing out in Wrigley today, their fortunes would finally change. Taking on the San Diego Padres, the Cubby bats would get hot. Darwin Barney hits one just out of the park to center field to give Chicago a 3-1 lead. However, the Padres would bounce back with 2 homers in the top of the 4th. But Alfonso Soriano would put the team on his back, doubling to left field, scoring Brian LaHare in the 4th. Then he put the Cubs on top for good with a 2-run blast out onto Waveland in the 6th. Cubs go on to win 11-7 and snap that long 12-game losing streak.
You know, it's a big relief for all them guys. Like I said today, you know, you feel bad for them. You know, it's tough. It shows you sometimes how tough it is to win a Major League Baseball game. You know, and to lose 12 in a row. You know, hopefully something like that gets everything going. The bats and you know, Colin did a nice job. Wells did a heck of a job. You know, Camp, you know, coming in for the one batter, getting the guy out, and Russell was great again. So.
Chris Sale was on the mound for the Southsiders, and he had a phenomenal outing. Sale fanned 15 Rays batters, just one shy of the club record for most Ks in a game. Tampa Bay had a 1-run lead going into the 6th. That was when Adam Dunn knocks a 2-run homer out of the park, giving the Sox the lead for good. Sale would hold on to that lead, striking out the side in the 6th, and quelling the threat in the 7th. They go on to win 2-1. Up at Hallis Hall, reports have surfaced surrounding the Bears' concern over running back Matt Forte's knees. Speculation has come out saying that the contract negotiations are stalling because personnel feel that Forte's knees cannot hold up. Well, Forte met the criticism by posting a video to his Twitter account. The video shows Forte running up a hill with a 100-pound sled strapped to his body. Forte has refused to sign his franchise tag tender and has been absent from team off-season training activities. In the NBA, Boston is taking its talents to South Beach as Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals began last night. Miami star LeBron James scored 32 points for the Heat, including this alley-oop. What a monster jam. In the second, Rajon Rondo scores for the Celtics, but Doc Rivers gets a technical foul from the bench. He thought Rondo was fouled, and Boston would get 5 overall technicals. James and Wade proved too much for the Celtics, as evidenced by this touchdown pass from Wade to James for the easy jam. The Heat go on to win 93-79.
I always give them the credit, you know, and, you know, we'll look at the film and we'll see. I just know when we took our time in the second quarter, we got everything we wanted. And then we went back to the way we started the game in the third quarter. On the road, you just can't have 2 quarters of lulls. You know, you just can't afford it. And I thought we did that.
Briefly, HBO has chosen the Miami Dolphins to star in Hard Knocks this year. Vinny Del Negro will return to coach the Los Angeles Clippers next year. And former NFL star Terrell Owens has been cut by the Allen Wranglers in the IFL. Tim and Abel, back to you.
Sean, thanks very much. Our entertainment reporter Ryan will be with us after the break to fill us in on all of our entertainment news, including a member of Siegfried and Roy in some legal trouble. Stay tuned.
Channel 4 WICB News, Lombard's finest news source for stocks, sports, weather, and local and national news.
Are you okay?
No, I am not okay. I'm stressed out right now. I'm hungry. My mom keeps calling. I have midterms, homework, a paper that's due in 20 minutes. No, I'm not okay. I'm freaking stressing out right now.
you're stressed out, feeling like a diva, or just plain hungry, Snickers always satisfies.
It is time now for our entertainment update with Ryan Shashelsky. Ryan?
Thanks, Abel. Roy Horn's male caregivers are suing him for sexual harassment. A graphic video of Roy Horn of Siegfried and Roy has been allegedly groping, fondling, and squeezing his male employees is currently being shopped around. The video was shot in 2010. Horn had been recovering from a vicious tiger attack he sustained back in the year 2003. The left side of his body had been going through prolonged periods of rehabilitation, hence why he needed 3 caretakers. The 3 male caretakers in the video tell TMZ they are all straight and have families. They have sued Roy in a Nevada court for the alleged sexual assaults. The caretakers also tell us they went to the cops recently to file a crime report, but were told the 1-year criminal statute of limitations had run out. Now, infamous adult movie star Jenna Jameson was involved in a car accident yesterday morning. Jameson reportedly lost control of her vehicle and crashed into a light pole. She was arrested for suspicion of drinking and driving after taking a failed sobriety test. Talk about a pole dance gone wrong. So where is Jameson now? Jameson was booked but has since been released from custody. She sustained only minor injuries from the collision. And according to the Associated Press, she refused medical attention at the scene. In the star's mugshot, her hair is tousled and she is wearing dark eye makeup as she smiles for the camera. The former adult film actress has appeared in over 100 films, and in 2008 she confirms her retirement from the adult movie industry. Wilder Valderrama is either too loud and obnoxious or maybe just an inconsiderate homeowner. The former That 70 Show star is being sued by his next-door neighbor, Baruch Eichenbaum, who claims Wilmer has been throwing ragers at his LA home for years, and apparently the noise is just too unbearable. The suit filed in the LA County Superior Court says the neighbor is bothered by the ongoing and continuing loud noises from the parties at all hours of the day and night. The neighbor says he has also reached out to Valderrama at least 7 times through letters and has made dozens of phone calls to the actor, but no response. Baruch says he's also called the police on several occasions. Wilmer's parties allegedly don't stop, and Bruce claims the shindigs interfere with his sleep. Baruch is now trying to find the judge to pipe down his neighbor. A rep for Valderrama had no comment at this time. Also in news, Charlie Sheen says he is not the mystery buyer of Lawrence Taylor's $230,000 Super Bowl ring, despite widespread media reports to the contrary. LT had gifted the Super Bowl ring to his son TJ, who decided to put the ring up for auction without asking his father's permission. It was sold for $230,000, and LT's agent told the various media outlets he believed Sheen was the mystery buyer. According to Sheen, LT's agent is wrong, Sheen said. As much as I would be honored to own such an important artifact, I had nothing to do with the acquisition. It's not a crazy rumor, considering Sheen is a big-time sports memorabilia collector who already owns Babe Ruth's 1927 World Series ring. No word if the real buyer plans to reveal his or her identity in the near future, but we shall see. Also in sports, Knicks guard J.R. Smith took his talents to South Beach and he got arrested. Miami Beach police say Smith was arrested last night on a bench warrant for not having a valid driver's license. Sergeant Bobby Hernandez told the Post that Smith was recognized on famed Washington Avenue in South Beach. Now, police originally said that Smith was pulled over while driving a scooter. Go figure. But after reviewing the arrest, report have now said that that is not the case. The warrant stems from Smith, 26, being cited last year in Miami for driving a scooter without a valid driver's license. That's interesting. Smith was taken to the Miami-Dade County Jail and booked under his legal name of Earl Joseph Smith shortly before midnight, and later was released on bond. Smith has had his past transgressions with the law, including vehicular manslaughter, charges that were eventually dropped.
All right, that was excellent. Thank you, Ryan. Finally, we have a rather bizarre footage of a helicopter cat. Dutch artist Bart Jansen turned his dead cat Orville into a flying helicopter. The video has turned into somewhat of a YouTube sensation. Viewers get the chance to see a catcopter in action. Jansen turned his dead cat into a helicopter so that it could once again chase the birds.
Chase the birds?
Chase the birds. That's I'd say it's pretty interesting.
I personally would just humanely put my cat down. I don't think I'd stuff him.
That's rather
a helicopter.
A rather interesting way of preserving your loved ones, your little pets that you got.
What can I say? I'm a cat lover, and that just seems a little inhumane to me.
I'd say so.
Just one man's opinion.
From all of us here at WICB News, we had a great time. Thank you for tuning in today.
He's Abel Allegria. I'm Tim Nessel. We'll see you next time.